morning. Welcome to the Ventura Meat Company. About to get our day started here. Get the sign and the flag out. Pretty routine. Why don't we go inside and see what's going on? If you've been in here recently, you might have noticed we have some empty display cases. Maybe it goes without saying, but these won't remain empty and they won't remain here. We have a plan in place to install some new display cases in addition to our big display case in the middle of our store to supplement our offering. You'll see things like deli meats, a wider offering of more types of exotic meats like elk or venison, which we're seeing an uptick in demand for. I think we're going to have a lot of things to offer that a lot of people are looking for, so that'll be coming in the future. Begs the question, where are these things going to go? Well, these partition walls, when they went up 12 years ago, were put up with the eventual intention of taking them down. Since they're not that tall, they're not structural, we always knew that we could eventually knock these walls down and put more refrigeration display in their place. So this wall is eventually going to say bye-bye. There's a little bit of construction that will be involved in that. There's a little bit of electrical conduit running through there, so some of the construction might take a little longer than we'd like, but it's going to happen. This wall will go bye-bye. Also, the same can be said for this wall. So, those two display cases that are currently empty in the front of the store, A, B, they'll go here. Our hope is that the deli meats will go here, and more of our, if you'll allow me to use the word, exotic meats will go over on that end. And when I say exotic, we kind of have to let the market tell us what to do. We'll throw some things out there, see what sticks, but I think over a few months we'll start to get a feel of what works in there and how that kind of bounces off what people may or may not be looking for. Deli meats we really like, and we found out recently just how much other people like them. What we hope to do is to offer things that maybe have a little more comfortable ingredient profile than what you might be used to in the grocery store, and we'll have a wide offering of those in this display case to go along with all the other things that we currently sell. But on the same note here, one thing that we want to plant a seed about, and this is not very much a secret, but it's something that we've kind of had in our back pocket for a little while, is that we are building a production facility. And what does that mean? We want to make everything ourselves. And we've known that for a long time. We've wanted to do that for a long time. And the rubber is finally meeting the road on that operation. So when we talk about this in the long term, and hopefully within the next 4 or 5 months, at our production facility, we'll be able to generate those deli meats ourselves, which allows us a lot of autonomy on what those ingredients look like. So a lot of the ingredients that are in deli meats, they're there to extend shelf life. And if you're producing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds every day, you've got to take measures to make sure that it's not going to go bad. And that not only protects them, it protects the consumer, this, that, and the other. But what we hope to do here is, like a lot of things that we like to do, or even the vendors that we buy things from, do it on a smaller scale. And what that will allow us to do is to use an ingredient profile that maybe isn't as scary, maybe doesn't have some of the ingredients that you're trying to steer away from. And that will all go in this. I can see it. I can see it. I know a lot of people look at this and that's just a wall. It's a wall right now. But I guess I look at things a little differently when I walk in here. And so the same thing will be said for this case over here, or this wall over here, depending on how you want to look at it. One thing that we're also doing with our production facility is we're building a supply chain here with a local beef farm, Flying H Beef. They're right here in Ventura. It's been difficult for us at some points to have a more local source for beef. As you've probably heard us say through the past few years, that most of our beef is coming from Central California, which in and of itself is fine. We don't have a problem with sourcing from there. Our Wagyu beef comes from Texas. We really want to dial things back as best we can and find things in close proximity when it's available to us. And about a year ago, the folks at Flying H Beef approached us and they said, hey, we've got beef. We want to sell it in Ventura. We know about the Ventura Meat Company. How can we build this supply chain? And so what we've been doing for the past, August, I guess maybe 8 months, 10 months, I went to public school, is trying to put that supply chain together and figure out a fluid way for them to get those cows that are right up there in those hills into our display case. And what we've done is work with Flying H Beef to build that production facility that I mentioned as it pertains to the deli meats, and have it be a very small footprint supply chain. The beef, they're right here in Ventura. They will go to Paso Robles for harvesting, and then they will come to our production facility, which is right here in Ventura. And ultimately, the retail cuts that you are already familiar with, the ribeye steaks and the tri-tips and things like that, not a lot's going to change here as it pertains to our offering, but behind the curtain, so to speak, everything's going to be different and everything's going to be better. So when we get this whole footprint here dialed in and installed and looking really great, there will be a backdrop to that, which we want to show you that will kind of tell the tale and show the narrative about how this stuff is arriving here, which is going to be a really good narrative. And hopefully what we can do with all of these videos going forward is, when everything is in place, give you, the consumer, a full perspective on A, the retail store, B, the production facility, and C, the farm. So you can look down the telescope, so to speak, and you'll see the entire supply chain right there in front of your eyes. And we're really excited about that. This is step 1. Step 2 and 3 are to come.